Now, Noah and I share the same uncle, but I wasn't given that same sweet deal, so. Anyway. Good afternoon, faculty, families, friends, and the class of 2026. How do you want to be perceived? When I entered Nolan, I didn't have an answer. Not because I wasn't thinking about it, but because I was thinking about it all the time. When I entered high school, everyone kept saying the same thing. And when I say everyone, I mean my classmates. But honestly, my teachers too. Now, the grades matter. Now, extracurriculars matter. Everything counts. Every class, every decision. If we wanted the best colleges, we needed what people call a killer resume. At some point, I started wondering what that even meant. What was the point? Bragging rights? Validation? We just accepted that this was the system and that it was important to play it well. We all started aiming for something. Whether scrambling to start a nonprofit, chasing a Division I scholarship, or flocking to the stage to be the stars remembered after the lights went out. Different goals, different paths, but the same desire to be seen. I gravitated toward academics. It felt natural, but also felt safe. Grades made sense. Rankings made sense. There's a clear way to know where you stood. What I didn't understand yet was what that commitment would ask of me. I didn't experience that path as giving up friendships or social life. What I felt instead was a kind of mental pressure I didn't know how to describe at first. There was always something running in the background. I was constantly planning, recalculating, replaying outcomes that hadn't happened yet, quietly keeping track of where I stood compared to everyone else. At first, I told myself this was just motivation, but over time, it stopped feeling productive and started feeling consuming. It felt like my amygdala, the part of the brain where logic gets hijacked by fear, was constantly running the show, creating a constant hum of background noise. I didn't realize how loud it had gotten until it stopped. It stopped during confession. There was no audience, no comparison, no ambition, just my conscience and God. Once the noise quieted, I realized I hadn't been carrying everything alone. God had given me a family. My grandparents, Ong and Ba, you never understood grades or rankings. You were never given the chance to. What you understood was care. Ong chopped the ingredients while Ba rolled, tight enough so nothing would fall apart. Summer rolls when I was stressed, egg rolls when I was discouraged, always placed in front of me without explanation. Mom, your light stayed on long after mine went out. I didn't always need it. I just needed to know that it was there. Dad, the kitchen is where you thrive. You watched my lunchbox closely, what I ate, what I avoided. Eventually, you learned something important. 10 days straight of Korean barbecue was fine, but chicken masala was a one-hit wonder. I know I'm not the only one who had someone like this. For each of us, there was an Ong or Ba, a mom or a dad, or someone who may have not known our GPA or our resume, but understood us anyway. They didn't define success by grades or titles. Quietly and repeatedly, they were the place we could rest when everything else felt loud. The people who remind us of who we were when we forget. And sometimes that person wasn't family. Sometimes it was a teacher. There are teachers we never forget. Many teach content. Few shape who we become. Mr. Reyes, you encouraged me to explore my faith, to doubt, and then to find my way back. You never rushed the process. It usually took at least a 12-page essay to get there. Mrs. Lester, you noticed a quiet leadership in me that often goes overlooked. You didn't make a big deal out of it, but you said enough for it to be felt. Just as in macroeconomics, the forces that matter most aren't always the most visible. Coach Stoll, words feel inadequate here. You taught me engineering, but the conversations were never really about coding. We talked about ethics, philosophy, and how to think without bias. That kind of guidance doesn't need hyperbole. It works slowly and quietly, but changed the way I see the world, which is especially impressive because in football, you don't just watch the play, you learn to read it. They say humans aren't meant to exist in isolation. That saying makes sense when I think of you, my friends. We walked the same halls, felt the same pressure, carried the same expectation. No matter what I took on, you showed up, cheering, waving banners, celebrating milestones that weren't even your own. You believed in me so openly that sometimes I believed in myself too. High school is hard. We're still trying to figure out who we are while being told that our future depends on getting it right. My mom once asked me if all the anxiety and fear had been worth it. Honestly, I don't regret any of it. Every year, we're warned not to chase the top, not to sacrifice too much. I didn't dive in because I wanted a title. I dove in because I wanted to know what I was capable of. There were nights, though, when I wondered if I had tied too much of who I was to something that could change with a single grade. Was I chasing excellence or approval? Over time, approval hardened into pride. I had built part of my identity on always excelling. And when that wasn't guaranteed, I realized how fragile that identity really was. The prize was never the recognition. That part fades. The excitement lasts a week, maybe less. What stuck was a split second when RenWeb loaded and my stomach dropped, or when a roster, a cast list, or a decision comes out and your eyes search for your name, bracing for where it will or won't be. The rush of heat, the pulse in your ears, the moment when what you expected isn't what you see. You learn to sit through it, to keep your face steady even when your thoughts aren't, to close RenWeb, to look away, to steady yourself before anyone notices. You keep going like nothing happened. That's what lasted. Not the number, not the result, but what it took to keep going. Some of you are already replaying these years in your minds. Some of you wish you had pushed harder. Some of you wish you had chosen differently. Some of you feel content with exactly how things unfolded. None of those reactions is wrong. What matters is what you understand now. You know what you care about, what you don't, and what you're willing to work for. When it feels overwhelming, remember, you are not carrying it alone. There's guidance beyond you, and the teachers who shaped you, the family who carried you, and the friends sitting beside you right now. And maybe the answer to how you want to be perceived doesn't need to be final. This isn't an ending or even a beginning. It's a draft, something you're allowed to revise again and again. Class of 2026, congratulations on your first draft. There won't always be a RenWeb to refresh, no list to check, no number to tell you where you stand. but the noise will follow you. New expectations, new pressures, new ways to measure yourself. The noise doesn't disappear when rankings do. It just changes its shape. And when the screen goes quiet and the noise gets loud again, the question is no longer how you want to be perceived. The question is, who are you becoming? That answer is yours to live. Thank you.